So you can find all these heartbreaking, heartfelt, just deeply moving essays online about converts to Judaism and how after even 40 years they didn't feel accepted by the Jewish community, even though they theologically believed that Judaism was true. It's really heartbreaking stuff. Just this lack of acceptance. And there's a lot of emotional outpourings by converts to Judaism, complaining about this lack of acceptance and detailing exquisitely the painful emotions that they've felt by not being accepted by the Jewish community. And so I ask you, my friends, what do all these articles have in common? And I'll give you 10 seconds to come up with the answer. What do all these articles complaining about lack of acceptance by converts to Orthodox Judaism, what do they all have in common? Can you rack your mind and even conceive what they might have in common? Where's the quality? Where's the quality rest for my high quality production? No, that's not it. Where did I usually rest it? Where did I usually rest this thing? Oh yeah, maybe more towards the center. So what all these articles have in common is they're all written by women. You're not going to find articles by men complaining about the lack of acceptance they feel from the Jewish community, because men would be way too ashamed, generally speaking, to share that feeling. I know I would feel way too ashamed to share that feeling of lack of acceptance, because as a bloke, you immediately tend to take responsibility. And so if you were to write a heartfelt essay in exquisite detail about your feeling of lack of acceptance, you'd be essentially writing an essay about yourself as a loser. And really, who wants to do that? Not many blokes I know want to write essays about themselves as losers. So, right? Guys don't tend to write essays of complaint about not feeling accepted. Man, my iPhone holder really sucks. No, it's probably... See, as a bloke, I can't say that because I know that I'm doing something wrong. I know that I am not using my iPhone holder correctly. And all problems with the angle and with my iPhone holder are on me. So, I converted to Judaism in 1993 after about 3.5 years of moving along on that journey. And I've had, I think, 2 Jews tell me, I don't accept your conversion. And one of them was a good friend of mine at synagogue. He's had me over to his home for many a Jewish holiday meal, and he was trolling. And the one person who said it seriously was this secular Jewish woman who worked as a matchmaker. So I have felt accepted in the Jewish community according to my merits as a man, according to my merits as to Judaism. So if you know anything about me, you know that my record's pretty mixed. They're never going to write a book about me called The Path of the Righteous. So, whoa, Halsey, throwing down the huge buckaroos. Halsey, wow, thank you so much. The $70 super chat, unbelievable. So, wow. HalseyNews.com, the official sponsor of my YouTube channel. Wow, so Halsey News has really welcomed this convert to Judaism. Now, my perspective on this particular stream is to take no side. I am not here to castigate these female converts to Judaism who don't feel accepted. I'm not here to criticize them. I am not here to criticize Jews who don't want converts, period. I understand that too. Someone takes some classes for a year or two, and then they pass a Beit Din and they have a dunk in the mikveh, and suddenly they're called Jews. Yeah, you know, a lot of converts are weird. A lot of converts, after they pass the conversion, they stop coming to shul. So I was talking to one head of a Beit Din in Los Angeles, and he said that of all the Orthodox Batei Din Jewish law courts in Los Angeles, that after 5 years, 95% of the people they converted were still observing the Sabbath publicly. But other Orthodox Jews in the community put that figure at 50%. So maybe an Av Beit Din would have an incentive to see things differently, because who wants to admit that you converted someone who wasn't the real deal? So I think the accurate figure is somewhere between 50% and 90%. Whoa, I think I may have just kind of jumped my place in the queue. So, apologies. Blessings, as David would say. But I'm going to make up for it by letting this other driver cut in front of me. So I take no position. I have no problem with Jews who don't want converts, don't care for converts, are highly suspicious of converts. I have no problem with converts who feel excluded. I just try to understand all of these different perspectives. So I know of converts, like female converts. This is pretty much all female converts. All the female converts I know who then dropped public observance of the Sabbath. You know what the reason was? Because they just didn't feel like it anymore. Okay, I think men would be like way too ashamed to drop a commitment like that. It's like it's an awesome commitment to convert to Judaism. And men would by and large be ashamed to just drop this commitment because they just didn't feel like it anymore. But I noticed this in female converts to Judaism. What determines their conversion is their relationship with the guy. And so if he stops being observant, or if they drop the relationship with the guy or drop the marriage, they just drop the conversion. I remember I had a girlfriend and she got it in the head that she should convert to Judaism. So she went to the University of Judaism, which is conservative Judaism, and I was going to Orthodox synagogues with her. And so, I mean, she was really bad at reading social cues. Like, she was worse than I was. I mean, she would take her laptop computer into shul on Shabbos because she didn't want to leave it in the car in case it got stolen. And I kept telling her that this wasn't kosher, but she didn't listen. So anyway, she decided to go to the University of Judaism, and I didn't say anything, just like, yeah, let her do it. And I even accompanied her to classes and to events. And about 3/4 of the way through the process, she said to me, "You know, I'm doing this for you." And for all the conversations prior to that, "Oh, I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this because I believe in it. I think it's the right thing. In my heart, I've always felt Jewish." But talkless, when you get down to it, she was doing it for me. And when we broke up, she hung around the community for a year or two, but she never even finished her conservative conversion, let alone an Orthodox conversion. So I know another convert to Orthodox Judaism, married the Jewish guy, landed the Jewish husband, and they raised a couple of kids. The kids were about 20 when couple got divorced, and as soon as they got divorced, the woman was just, I just don't feel like it anymore, I just don't believe in it anymore, and she dropped Orthodox Judaism. See, what happens when you convert to Judaism is that you made a commitment, and you've bonded with a ton of people who have vouched for you, that you have made a lifelong commitment to the Jewish people. And so when you then drop it, it's not like Christianity where you're just dropping a particular belief. You are you're betraying the trust of all these people who vouch for you in your conversion to Judaism. You're betraying your own commitment. And it's just stunning to me how women will do this just because they don't feel like it anymore. It's like, for women, these sort of decisions are just based on their feelings. And I remember I had this wonderful girlfriend. She was so smart that I never once had to explain to her when I was being sarcastic. She always knew that. She always knew when I was being sarcastic, and we just had many wonderful conversations. We enjoyed getting to know each other Jewishly. Great girl. And I really wanted to land her. And so, because I wanted to land her, I never said I love you. It was so obvious that I loved her. I just kept quiet because she was always breaking up with me and having her lesbian dalliances. And when we were engaged in getting to know each other Jewishly, sometimes she would cry out, "I love you." And of course I'd say, "I love you too." But even I, as totally besotted and drunken with her charms, with her Ashkenazi genes, with her Ashkenazi good looks, with her piercing cultural critique intelligence, even I knew that this girl saying "I love you" was no guarantee about anything, because she could leave my home after shrieking my name. Okay, look, 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 I love you, I love you. She could shriek my name and declare her love, and the next day she could go be wrapping her limbs around a woman. So as love drunk as I was, I knew that her declaration of love meant nothing, except that she was merely feeling intent. So this is not a castigation stream. This is not a criticism stream. I don't blame women for making decisions based on their feelings. For most of human history, most women have been the responsibility of either their father, their husband, sibling, or some kind of male relative. So personal responsibility is relatively new for women. By and large, they don't like to take personal responsibility for their choices, and they feel little compunction about betraying all their vows if they don't feel like it anymore. I mean, women are responsible for about 90%, the initiation about filing 90% of divorces, says F. Roger Devlin. So women file about 2/3 of divorces, and most of the rest, the men do it because the woman requested. So that's the That's just the reality. For some women, when they say I love you, it means something, but for some women, when they pledge, take a vow, make a commitment, it means something. But for most women, most of the time, it only means just that they're feeling something or it's convenient right then. And when they're no longer feeling it, they'll just betray the vow. Also, women feel a lot more permission to share their negative feelings, to complain. Men, generally speaking, regard other men who complain as whiners and weak and womanly. So it's women who write the essays about, even after 40 years of Judaism, I never felt fully accepted by the Jewish community. And they will look back on their life and they'll just remember all the instances where they didn't feel accepted. And this flare light behind me, it's a symbol that the Almighty has chosen me to be his servant, to bring his message of ethical monotheism to humanity. So I feel the power of Hashem behind me as I do this stream. Yeah, that's what we're all about. This is a God-intoxicated stream. I am God's servant. He is the director. He's in charge. And the words that I'm saying to you are shaped and inspired by God. So you can look back on your Jewish experience or your work experience or your family experience or your American experience, and you can remember all the times that you felt slighted. Like, it's so easy to build up resentments, okay? And if you're a woman, it's socially acceptable to build up those resentments and turn them into an essay or talk about them publicly. And I find, generally speaking, women are afraid to express that they're happy. It just makes them way too vulnerable. So they prefer to chew on the things that make them unhappy and share and talk about it. And so if you're a convert to Judaism, you can always find reasons for why you were never fully accepted, and you can always think back on people who slighted you, and you can feel betrayed. Like, women, it seems, just love feeling betrayed. They love nursing the hurt. And if you've been in a relationship with a woman, you'll know that they will pull out, you know, the most embarrassing, most selfish, most cruel, most uncaring things you've ever done. They can remember them with explicit detail and can just bring them up at any time when they need to try to make you feel like a heel and to, you know, just show how they've been hard done by. And women are good at that. They have better recall for interpersonal relations. They're more in touch with their emotions. It's more socially acceptable to express these negative feelings. Yeah, I know, everyone wants me to get into a car accident. And I say to that, blessings to you. Because I understand the appeal of a good car crash. I love a good car wreck as much as the next bloke. Okay? It's hard to look away from a car crash. And I know the only reason many of you tune into these, you know, driving streams is you're just dying for me to just get into a car crash. And Plotinus, I just figured out Lou's plans. He's threatening to tell truth the ADL doesn't want known, but he keeps quiet for Halsey for a fee. Yeah, I understand the right of way while on the roads, and I don't insist on being dead right. So, but you guys feel the power of Hashem, like right behind me there. See, I've got the sun. I got the sun in my hands, mate. Okay? So you don't think that I'm powerful, but I've got the sun right there in my hands. I am holding the power of the universe in my hands. I got the boys and the girls in my hands, the little bitty animals in my hands. I got the platypus and the kangaroos in my hand, and I ain't gonna let them go. I've got the Jews and the Goyim in my hands. I got the Jews and the Goyim in my hands. I got the Jews and the Goyim in my hands, and I ain't gonna let them go. I got the platypus dogs in my hands. I got the platypus dogs in my hands. I got the platypus dogs in my hand, and I ain't gonna let them go. I got a few roos loose in my top paddock. I got a few roos loose in my top paddock. I got a few roos loose in my top paddock, and I ain't gonna let them go. See, I have the power of the Almighty, of the Son behind me, and don't think that I am afraid to use this power to promote Jewish interests, to promote our group evolutionary strategy, to promote our culture of critique. You like German science? Well, how do you like this Jewish science? Okay, the atoms, and we can smash them together to create atomic bombs. Okay, and I can feel, since my conversion, I can feel the power of the atomic atoms and the hydrogen atoms in my hands, and I ain't gonna let them go. I got Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I got Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I got Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and I ain't gonna let them go. Boom, boom. I got nuclear power in my hands. I got the Jewish physics in my hand. I got the culture of critique in my hand, and I ain't gonna let them go. Yeah, you had a similar experience when you did shrooms. Oh, okay, the Brundle song. By popular demand, it's time to sing the Brundle song. Okay, this is from my late lamented co-host. I know it's late. I know you're weary. I know your plans don't include me. Still here we are, both of us lonely, looking for shelter from all that we know. Why should we Why should we worry? No one will care, Brundle. Man, it's hard to read the lyrics and sing the song and keep the sterling tune and not running the car in front of me. Look at the stars so far away. We've got tonight, Brundle. Who needs tomorrow? We've got tonight, Brew. Why don't you stay deep in my heart? I've been so lonely, streaming all by myself, fading away. I've longed for a co-host, like everyone else does. I know I'll keep searching, even after today. So here it is, Brundle. Wow. We've got tonight, babe. Why don't you stay? I know it's late. I know you're weary. I know your plans don't include me. Still here we are, both of us streaming for shelter from all that we see. We've got the YouTube. We've got the YouTube. We've got the YouTube. Why don't you stay? Let's make it last. Let's find a way. Turn on the stream, Brundle. Come join my stream. We've got tonight. Brundle, why don't you stay? Yeah, Shay, I wish someone would sing to me like Luke sings to Brundle. No homo. That was totally no homo singing, guys. Just want to emphasize that. Anyway, so you convert to Judaism. It's not easy. And what is easy is that to like take every little slight as like Jews not accepting you. And in my experience, like fewer than 5% of Jews will not accept you if you're a meritorious person. And what does that mean, not accept? I mean, let's say I'm in some position in the community and I'm providing a service. You're not going to accept a service because I'm the one who's providing it. If you need a minion, you're really not going to accept me to make the minion. Like if you need a ride, you're not going to take a ride from me. If I donate money to your organization or you're sure, you're not going to take it because I'm a convert. Why do Goyim even bother converting to Judaism? Because some of us follow the truth the best we see it. Jenna Jameson to be my co-host. She's the female version of me. So I had this job. The boss was terribly abusive. And so I gave a letter of resignation. Then the boss became really nice. So I temporarily rescinded my resignation upon the maintenance of his spiritual condition. Well, of course, that didn't last long. So then I gave a final letter of resignation and walked away. So we don't have to stay in abusive relationships. You're in an abusive relationship at work, you can walk away. You can get another job. If you have self-respect, you move on. Like I was telling someone at my shul about how a client was treating me. And this guy said, I would never allow anyone to speak to me that way. Well, that girlfriend I had who I was complaining about because she'd keep relapsing into her sapphic impulses. Well, when she had an alpha boyfriend, she knew that was unacceptable. So during the 10 years that they were together, she never relapsed into her sapphic impulses. But because she correctly saw me as weak, she did what she wanted. See, I got the power. I've got the power. Feel the power. Okay, that's Jewish power. I can harness that. When I converted to Judaism, I got my own homemade nuclear bomb kit. And so I know how to use that power of the sun to fuel the cultural critique, to fuel Jewish interests. I haven't been following an ex-girlfriend for 10 years. She had a fiance for 10 years. And during that 10 years, he was so alpha that she never once relapsed into her sapphic impulses. Okay? So you guys think you can diss the Jews and there are no consequences. Well, I have harnessed the power of the atom. I was taught by the protocols of the elders of Alpha how to harness the power of the atom to further the Jewish group evolutionary strategy. I got the power of the culture of critique, bro. It's fueling this stream. It's right behind me. Anyway, so plenty of people convert to Judaism and they're accepted, or if they're not accepted, they don't even think about not being accepted. Like the little slights that like terribly wound other people, the same identical slight. One person's going to be terribly wounded, almost suicidal, and another person will just be completely oblivious. So you can treasure your slights and you can store up a resentment against a group that has slighted you. Or if you're healthy, you just don't let it get you down. So I think people, converts to Judaism who don't feel accepted, I think it's primarily they don't accept themselves. You accept yourself, other people will naturally accept you, and if they don't, it won't bother you because you know that you're a person of substance. You know that you're a person who was worthy of breathing air and taking up some space in the world. So all those essays about lack of acceptance, people are just revealing their inner dialogue, their inner lack of acceptance of themselves. It's amazing what happens once you come to accept yourself, warts and all. Other people immediately relax around you, and you no longer fetishize rejection. You no longer feel compelled to keep living out patterns of abandonment that you experienced in early childhood. Like, that's what happened to me growing up a few years in foster care. Abandonment was the strongest emotion in my first few years. So as a result, as I grew into adulthood, I kept doing things so that I could re-experience the intensity of abandonment, just obsessed with abandonment. And so, despite the noblest of my intentions, I kept replaying scenarios that would see me abandoned. And guess what? It wasn't the fault of those communities that abandoned me. And it wasn't my fault either necessarily. I was just locked into replaying these endless dramatic cycles from my childhood. And only when I came to terms with what happened, like why I resented other people, what did they do, what part of me did they affect, what was my role, then I got some clarity, I got some inner peace, and I realized that there's nothing that anyone has ever done to me that is worse than what I've done to other people. And so just as I want sympathy and understanding from my bad behavior, so too I need to extend that to other people. So I notice a lot of people like our president, Donald J. Trump, seem to take everything personally. And nothing's personal. If you had another person's genetics and imprinting and environmental and cultural influences, you'd react the same way that they do. So I'm going to harvest the power of that sunshine again to spread Jewish influence, spread the Torah. Feel the power of the Jewish sun. One of us, one of us, one of us. So yeah, like I get it. There's like a part of my psyche that likes to treasure feeling abandoned. As a kid, I would often like say no to things like an ice cream or an opportunity to forgive someone, because I so wanted to treasure that feeling of being wronged, that feeling of being hurt. I would just hang on to that feeling of being hurt or abandoned or isolated, because I saw the power that I could have by making my parents feel bad and by making other people feel bad. So I kind of learned to hurt myself to get attention, to manipulate other people's emotions. And even today, I will still feel that strong urge to treasure slights, to exquisitely treasure and remember put downs, like the smallest forms of abandonment, disappointment in other people. And it's a very sick part of me. And I can accept that, and I can let it go and make some progress. Bye-bye.